A lot to discuss in today's podcast, my man. Donald Trump, of course, has been in the United Kingdom over the last couple of days, and as always, a lot to unpack from Donald Trump being in the UK. What was your favourite moment?
Yeah, Donald Trump always brings this aura of controversy around him, and always in a positive sort of manner as well. But not only that, we've also got some more illegal immigrants terrorising young kids as well at primary schools. And also some really damning messages from the president of the Free Speech Union at Oxford. But yeah, Donald Trump in the UK, he was given an incredible reception at Windsor Palace. Really just great to see the monarch be so close with the most powerful man in the world, Donald Trump. And yeah, it's also quite nice to see the comments he made yet again about Sadiq Khan.
Yeah, I mean it's quite hilarious. Do you want to start with this deal that has been signed? We've been discussing a lot recently about the UK falling behind. In fact, in the last podcast, we spoke about the UK potentially falling behind all of the sort of on AI and all of this. However, of course, the UK have signed a $150 billion deal with the United States, which would see US tech companies, of course, invest in the United Kingdom. Is this a big coup from Starmer?
Yeah, well, it's definitely a deal in the right direction. I've not read too much in terms of the deal, but obviously any sort of infrastructure deal or being able to utilize the AI sort of energy from America is going to be a good thing, a net positive for the UK. It'd be interesting to see where those data centers are going to be like constructed though. Obviously the UK, we have some of the highest energy prices in the world. And to see big corporations invest so heavily in an industry that requires energy, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do you want to go through some of the great moments, of course, from this as well? Because Donald Trump, again, everything that comes up with Donald Trump and Keir Starmer is always speaking about sort of the suppression of free speech. And of course, Keir Starmer tiptoes around certain points. But also with regard to illegal immigration. Now, Trump has actually came out and said what the UK should do to stop illegal immigration and said that the UK should be deploying the military. I just want to watch this clip quickly of him talking about it. And then Keir Starmer, of course, flexing that he deported one migrant, which we'll get to momentarily as well. But I want to just watch this video quickly of Donald Trump, of course, talking about Britain's open border policy at this moment in time and what he would do to stop the boats and stop the invasion.
They came from mental institutions, they were gang members, they were drug dealers, they came from the Congo, they came from all parts of South America, they came from everywhere. Think of it, prisoners from the Congo being released into the United States, prisons opened up in Venezuela and many other countries pouring into the United States. And I couldn't believe it. One of the reasons I decided to run. I decided to run because I don't want to be controversial, but you see what's happened and you see all the information that's come out. We won in 2020 big. And I said, let's run, we got to run, because I saw what was happening. And the worst thing that I saw was all of these people. We've already solved inflation. We've solved prices. Oil is way down. Energy is way down in the United States. But what I saw happening with millions of people pouring into our country, I couldn't stand to watch it. And we've done a great job. Nobody, if you've seen the last, I appreciate your question, by the way, nobody, absolutely zero, and I'm not even sure that's possible, but it's a very liberal group that come out with those statistics. The last 3 months, we had zero. From millions of people a year ago, we had zero people enter our country illegally. And we do have people coming in legally through a legal process and testing and lots of other things. I think it's very important, and we speak about it. And I think your situation is very similar. You have people coming in, and I told the Prime Minister I would stop it. And it doesn't matter if you call out the military, it doesn't matter what means you use, but it's going to destroys countries from within. And we're actually now removing a lot of the people that came into our country. It's a very hard chore. We were given a very, very bad hand. Millions of people came in from prisons and mental institutions. We have to remove them. And we are removing them. We have no choice. And I feel very strongly about it. Thank you very much.
Jack, let me just deal with the question of returns, because this is obviously an issue we're taking incredibly seriously. We've struck a number of deals both on cooperation with other countries, because this is a problem right across Europe, to tackle the problem of actually breaking up the gangs that are running this trade. We have had a record number of returns, over 35,000 now since we came into office. That's the highest number for the best part of 10 years. We struck the returns arrangement with France, and notwithstanding the challenges to that scheme, which you've seen in the last few days, a flight went off at 6:15 this morning, successfully returning someone under that scheme. So that is an important step forward. Obviously, there's no silver bullet here. There's a range of things that need to be done. But given the challenges of returning people, it is important that we're able to prove it can be done. It was done. It was done early this morning.
So yeah, what did you think of that? There's a few points to unpack from that, I suppose. But yeah, firstly, what did you make of sort of Donald Trump? He's of course saying that the UK should implement the military, but Keir Starmer still talk about this 35,000 that he's deported. Wasn't it 35,000 6 months ago?
It's always been 35,000 apparently, which is different to the sort of immigration data that we've had recently. But you know, we'll go chronologically, okay? So we know Trump is a problem solver, okay? He came in with the biggest immigration problem in American history, and within a couple of weeks it was solved. So it does show that the problem can be solved, and also because it's so easily solved, it's probably intentional. Now, he's sort of strong-arming Keir Starmer here. He's basically saying, well, if I can do it, you can do it. And if anything, it's easier for us because we're an island, okay? We have a moat around our island. So, you know, then we go on to Keir Starmer's response to this, and he is literally bragging about deporting one person to France.
Yeah.
It's a clown show.
We're going to get to that very soon, about the one migrant that has, of course, been deported after some complications a little earlier on. But I just wanted to go on to another point with Donald Trump whilst we're on the subject of him as well, of kind of like humiliating him and patting him on his back. Yeah, let's have a little watch of this one quickly.
Well, let me be really clear about Hamas. They're a terrorist organisation who can have no part in any future governance in Palestine. And what happened on October the 7th was the worst attack since the Holocaust. We have extended family in Israel. I understand firsthand the psychological impact that that had across Israel. So I know exactly where I stand in relation to Hamas. Hamas, of course, don't want a two-state solution. They don't want peace. They don't want a ceasefire.
Yeah, what did you make of that? What's Trump doing there? Why is he patting him on his back?
Hey, look, that's a bit of a dominance thing there. I mean, look, he's acting like that statement is going to be, you know, waving the history books, like it's a very profound statement, like he's taking a stance that is so defiant. And he even says that, you know, let me make this absolutely clear. You know, this is common knowledge. I mean, Hamas are a terrorist organization. That's like me saying, oh, I don't like ISIS. It was like, obviously.
Yeah. It's still super funny.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And the way he just pats him and he just smiles and said, yeah, good. What does he say? Good boy.
Good boy. Good boy. Good man. Good man. Good boy.
Oh, it's
just
not
like,
far
yeah,
off,
literally like a sad. I mean, he looks like a little bitch there, Keir Starmer, to be fair.
He does. Yeah, just the way Trump kind of towers over him as well is I think is quite telling.
Well, it's one of those things as well. But Donald Trump, I mean, Keir Starmer and Donald Trump and whatnot isn't been the sort of main topic of discussion in the fallout of Trump's visit. It's, of course, been that sort of ongoing feud with Sadiq Khan. Now, prior to Donald Trump actually arriving in the UK, the mayor of London said, President Trump has fanned the flames of the far right, and now a toxic form of politics is spilling out onto our streets. These are dark times, but those who seek to divide us will not win. So he said that, and we've of course in the comments made before that Donald Trump has said with regard to Sadiq Khan. And again, as he was leaving on the plane, he was asked by journalists on why Sadiq Khan wasn't at the state banquet, and this was his response.
What do you think about the fact that you attend an event in England, a state visit, spectacular,
Right.
and yet the Mayor of London can't be there?
Oh, I didn't want him there. I asked that he not be there. I don't want them. I think the Mayor of London, Khan, is among the worst mayors in the world. And we have some bad ones. If you look at Chicago, but I think he's the equivalent of the Mayor of Chicago. I think he's done a terrible job. Crime in London is through the roof. The Mayor of London, Mayor Khan, has done a terrible job. And on immigration, he's a disaster. No, I asked that he not be there. He wanted to be there, as I understand. I didn't want him. I've not liked him for a long time. I just think, I have a certain pride in London and UK. My mother was born in Scotland, as you know. And when I see Mayor Khan do a bad job, the stabbings and the dirt and the filth, it's not the same. No, I didn't want him there.
I didn't want him there. It's good. How? What do you make of that?
Well, I think it would be true to say that, Khan would probably want to be there at that meeting. But the difference is he would probably be stood outside. Well, he would probably stood outside with a sign saying, stop racism.
Yeah.
Than actually attend it.
No, but I've never seen a president come after someone so publicly before. Like, people will talk about how bad Keir Starmer is as a leader and stuff like that. He doesn't really throw him under the bus, but like with Sadiq Khan, he literally just any moment that he gets a chance to speak about it, he literally humiliates him and pummels him into the ground, which is so glorious to see because everybody in the UK absolutely hates him.
And he always says it by name as well, Sadiq Khan, Mayor Khan, really
he said it about
emphasizes
6
who
times.
he's talking
Mayor
about.
Khan, Mayor Khan, Mayor Khan. He was just going at him massively, and it's so funny to watch. I absolutely love it. And I think a lot of people in the UK are super happy with Trump literally humiliating on every single moment he gets. But he said something there about his mum being Scottish. He does take a lot of pride. He literally just said that in the interview, that he takes a lot of pride. And sometimes I feel that he takes more pride in the UK than the entire establishment, including Keir Starmer. He's talked again about this on this trip, about the North Sea oil. He speaks so passionately about it and says, you've got a gold mine there, so use it. I know you did a deep dive into the North Sea oil reserves previously. And
That's correct.
The evidence there was pretty damning on how much we're getting effed over by this sort of net zero push and us not using those oil reserves. We could be far richer as a country. And of course, the taxpayer, the people that are paying for energy, would be so much better off as well.
Yeah, that's 100% correct, Dan. Just to do a little refresher on that, the UK sits on about 20 billion barrels of oil, enough to be energy independent for the next 100 years. And instead, what we do is we don't allow the oil companies to mine new fields that we know that oil is present. Instead, we elect to import it from the Middle East and from America at nearly 30 to 40% more than the cost of mining off the North Sea. So not only are we importing oil, which has a higher carbon footprint, but we're also importing more expensive oil, which again raises the price for everyone. So yeah, he's 100% correct when he says these things. And he'll say it in like a fun way sometimes. He'll say like, oh, the wind farms are so ugly, they kill all the fish and they kill all the birds. But again, the wind farms scam is 100% correct as well. The most inefficient renewable energy. It's not renewable at all because you need oil to lubricate the wind farms.
I didn't actually know how bad it was in the Channel, by the way. When I was flying over into the UK a couple of weeks ago, I actually seen the sheer volume of those wind farms actually in the ocean. I couldn't believe there was that many.
Yeah, it's crazy. And, unconfirmed reports are saying that businessmen get paid around £20,000 to £30,000 a month per turbine or something
That's
like
mental.
that. It's crazy. And you know what? We don't know the ecological harm this is happening because these wind farms are vibrating throughout the ocean. And we know that, you know, whales like to use like sonar, and dolphins and such like to use the sound, the very elegant, you know, sort of equilibrium of the ocean, and they're kind of like pushing that one way. It's really bad to see. We don't know. Obviously, there is a massive push for this like renewable energy, but as Elon Musk says, the sort of pinnacle of renewable energy will be from renewable sort of solar energy. You could cover a space as large as Portugal in solar, and you could power the whole world. So, you know, I think that's the sort of direction we have to go. There's a lot of land mass, especially maybe not for our country because we're not very sun blessed. But you know, I think that's the way forward.
Yeah, no, I agree. Keeping on the subject of Sadiq Khan as well, he's been in the headlines quite a lot this week as well. But of course, following the United Kingdom sort of rally, he was quick to issue a statement. And then in the London Assembly, Susan Hall, who's the sort of opposition, if you like, in the sort of London Assembly, she came out and literally nuked and humiliated Sadiq Khan's team. So I've got a video clip here of it. I just want to show you it because it's super funny, because they're all nodding their head in agreement to what Susan's saying, but just watch the spin-off here. It's quite funny, Dom.
Some of this is alarming, and I've been reading about some of the actions of protesters from a Metropolitan Police commander, and she noted, in carrying out their duties today, our officers have been punched, kicked, spat on, and had objects thrown at them by protesters. Would you agree, as I do, about the abhorrent treatment of police officers at protests?
I completely agree with you, Chair. It's unacceptable. You will have seen in the media today appeals for information on some of the people that the police are investigating. So there'll be continued investigation as to some of the actions that happened there.
Absolutely. But just to clarify, if I may, the words that I've just read to you were in relation to the protests on the 7th of September 2025, with the 893 arrests of Palestinian Action supporters, where 17 people were arrested, for assaults on police officers. Where is everybody's condemnation of the actions of the protesters then?
There we go. I mean, she literally
You know
just
what?
like, what?
She is on the ball. I love their little interactions, Susan Hall and Sadiq Khan and the rest of his team as well. You know, she really does hold him accountable. And that little bait and switch tactic really just disproves their condemnation for the protest that happened on the 13th. Because, you know, I read a statistic as well that it was 70% of the arrests that happened on Saturday, September 13th, were counter-protesters, which means only 8 people from the UTK march were actually arrested out of the millions that attended. And yet Sadiq Khan has the audacity, the cheek, to say that he feels for the police officers that were harmed, policing this protest. I think it's absolutely abhorrent. You know, you talk about the carnival protest, so the carnival that happened, where there were some 500 odd people arrested, you know, drugs seized, guns seized, stabbings, and he said it was a massive success. The hypocrisy is outstanding, and to call them out on their lies like this is brilliant.
It's because Sadiq's got a narrative, and anything that suits his narrative and fits his narrative, he's going to push. So, you know, if it's talking about sort of Notting Hill Carnival, which he loves so much, and the sort of Palestine action, which he's probably a supporter of, maybe not publicly, then, again, he's not going to condemn those actions. But despite there being a sort of parallel of something, or even far worse, of what's there, he won't come out and condemn it because it doesn't fit the narrative. He's got something against British people. A hint in his statement the other day there about far right. He mentioned it about 4 times in like a small paragraph. And again, we say it every single time that we're just normal people, but he wants to create a narrative that suits his agenda every single time. And this is just yet another one of those things. So, yeah, it's one of those.
Exactly. And you know what? He's on the losing side of that narrative as well, because the power is swinging in our direction, you know. You don't have Elon Musk back the movement, back the protest, and it not be consequential. You don't have some of the biggest political speakers and figures in the country and from around Europe and America speak and it not be consequential. He can't ignore us any longer. The UK mobilised in great force on September 13th. And we showed our might, and we showed that we are not the fringe far right that he sort of paints us out to be. We are the centre, we are normal people, you know, we are rational people, and we are fed up with what is going on in this country with free speech and with immigration. And he can tiptoe around the issue and call us any name he wants to call us. But at the end of the day, he's the boy who cried wolf. And when he sees real fascism and when he sees real division, and he's going to be very shocked, because this right now is incredibly tame.
Here, here. Talking about, you touched on a bit about migration. We touched upon it about the start as well with regard to Keir Starmer and the Labour government, of course, deporting this one migrant. Could you shed a bit of light on this? Because it sounds quite unbelievable. You've seen Keir Starmer sort of flexing the fact that he got a flight off of the ground. But it was just one migrant, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was literally one migrant. Actually, GB News have reported now it's two migrants.
Two migrants. Okay, so two.
Sorry.
So a
big-ish.
flight that can hold what? I mean, a small aircraft. I don't know how big the aircraft was, but a couple of hundred. They managed to get two back to France, which is quite something, isn't it, from Labour?
Yeah. So you know, a one in, one out deal would really sort of it suggests that, you know, as many people come into the country are going to leave the country. But, you know, we've had hundreds of people, if not thousands of people, already come this week, and yet we've deported two. So, after 9 days of windy weather, preventing migrant crossings, etc., essentially what happened is that the border force braced for a significant day of migrant activity. So, there was a man who lost a High Court bid to halt his removal, and was on a flight that left Heathrow for Paris at 6:15 a.m. on Friday. So I just want to reiterate that this man was able to fund a High Court case to keep him in the country. Who is paying for this?
I have
what
no idea.
Legal funds does he have, and where is his sort of money coming from? I think this goes into the NGO scam to keep these people in the country. You know, how is he using taxpayer money or, you know, government money to stay in the country? Well, that is another question for another day. But essentially, two people were deported. This basically means that 166 people were taking off the Typhoon, taking off the boats that come into the country this week, and two were deported. Yeah, incredibly embarrassing, especially with Donald Trump coming into office and obviously talking about his raving successes with his immigration. And we've got Keir Starmer bragging about two people. I think that's quite telling of the state of the UK right now.
Yeah, no, but as well as there was a hold up as well. So this guy was supposed to go on the Wednesday, but the flight didn't get off the ground because essentially the charities were sort of putting a stop to that flight going off. So they came into sort of some turbulence, if you like, that these charities were just trying to get involved to stop this guy from being deported. But obviously 2 days later, he managed to get him off the ground. But we're going to see a lot more to this. There's a lot of turbulence that's going to be coming away of this sort of one in, one out deal. And it certainly, as you can see there, two people off of the ground and out of the country is not even a grain of sand on this huge desert that we've currently got. So making it two, people can say, well, it's a start. Yeah, but two people on a flight, you know, we should be looking at, where reports today from GB News are stating that 400 have crossed this morning. Just goes to show the sheer volume of people that are coming over illegally and the sheer volume of individuals that we're not actually dealing with, which is massively problematic.
Yeah, 100%. You know, what efficiency is there if he's only got sort of two people on flights? You know, really, we should be holding these people until we can fill the flights up. And the sheer volume there is just absolutely underwhelming. You know, the issue is that how can you afford illegal asylum seekers the right for due process. I don't think any of these people have the right for due process. They all came illegally. The law is clear and cut. They need to be jailed and deported swiftly. They do not have the right to claim asylum. They should not have the right to fill up our courts and use our sort of infrastructure and at the expense of the taxpayers. They shouldn't have the right to claim these decisions in high courts and to challenge these decisions. And who are these charities that are, sort of funding this? That is a real question here, and something I will be looking into over the weekend. But it just goes to show, he can talk all he likes, and the figures of all these people and the videos of all these people getting deported is simply just propaganda. When you look at the real figures, the figures tell the truth, and the truth is that there is zero push for deportations or mass deportations.
Facts. Speaking about figures, Labour this morning have sunk to their lowest ever poll result, as Reform are now tipped for 264 seat majority. So a recent poll this morning has seen that Labour has been dealt a crushing blow, as new polling has put Keir Starmer's party on its lowest ever result, as Reform rose to the top by some margin. Now, polling from Find Out Now UK, taken between September 17th and 18th, has the Reform Party on 34%, with the Conservatives and Labour in joint second on 16%. In fourth are the Liberal Democrats on 13, with the Green Party just behind on 12. And now, using the electoral calculus prediction, the numbers give Reform a majority of 264 seats, with the Liberal Democrats becoming the official opposition on 52 seats, with Labour on 44. This is pretty wild, and of course Lee Anderson has been quick to react to this polling and said no seat is safe from the People's Army. Reform UK are coming for the two main parties. And under this sort of polling, Kemi Badenoch and Shabana Mahmood and Robert Jenrick actually would lose their seats to Reform. What is this poll suggesting? What do you think of this latest poll? I know it doesn't necessarily say what's going to happen if a general election was going to be called today officially. However, it does give a good insight on what could happen. But 34% and Labour joint with the Conservatives on 16 is pretty bad.
Yeah, it's crazy to see that Liberal Democrats are going to be the opposition.
What a world, man. What a world. Who is voting for the Liberal Democrats?
I
Who
know,
are these
right?
people, by the way?
It's crazy. I don't know what they stand for, nor any of their policies. I don't know really what sort of party they are. I don't know who's sort of living under a rock and think they have the solutions to this country's problems, but...
No, yeah, Ed Davey.
Conservative being the fourth biggest party, soon to be the fifth, in my opinion, when Advance get their foot in the door. That really shows how far they've gone. And I think you'll see a lot of people jumping ship from Conservatives.
No, but even the fact that seeing the Conservatives drop down that low, but also seeing Labour on par with them, that's pretty bad. That is bad for Labour. I think Labour, we're going to see, you talk about the Conservatives' downfall, right? They're already hit kind of rock bottom, I feel. They can only really go up from here, I think. But Labour, a party in power who were elected by, as they used to describe as a landslide victory a year ago, are that far low after a year. It just goes to show the job. This is unprecedented, really, in British politics of how much of a cock-up they've done.
Yeah, well, this landslide victory was really caused by the people who didn't vote. So, Labour won with 9 million votes, and 20 million Britons did not vote. So, it's really them 20 million people that are deciding, who were politically homeless, who didn't believe in any of the parties. They're the ones that are going to dictate the future of Britain. And I think them 20 million people were mostly represented in the march, in Tommy's march on September 13th. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see sort of when advance gets into the play, where they're going to stand. But you're absolutely correct. I think Labour have had a massive cock up since coming into power. Sorry. I think, you know, that is pretty historic, right? To lose that much support in your first term.
Yeah, no, it's literally unprecedented. I know you're a supporter of Advance UK, and I like that. Advance UK look like certainly something's happening there, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. It's going to happen now in the sort of statistics following the United Kingdom rally, and of course on the September 27th, so about 8 days' time, they're going to be officially launching in Newcastle. But I just want to know your thoughts quickly on this reform surge. Do you think, right now, if you're a betting man, that Nigel Farage will be the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom?
If I was a betting man, I'd probably have to put my money on him.
Yeah.
I think what you're seeing is that they've become the mainstream alternative. Advance are operating in this sort of alternative space. But Reform have sort of been quick to act, and they've sort of occupied that third space. I think a lot of supporters, a lot of people who are sort of maybe a bit older have been so used to this uniparty, this sort of change in leadership and power from Labour to Conservative to Labour to Conservative, that they know deep down that a third party is needed. And that third party for them is Reform. I think for the people who are a little bit more educated and sort of understand deeper the policy that Reform want to enact, compare, and also the structure of Reform, I think it would actually put a lot of them voters off if they knew this information. You know, 34%, it's nearly double. It's over double, actually. The next competitor in Liberal Democrats. I think they're going to be winning the next election. But what you'll see, I think you'll see things change quite quickly over the next 3 years. You know, if we do last 3 years, or the next 4 years of Labour, what are your opinions on there being a sort of a sooner election, or election being called? Do you think that's a possibility?
Well, it could be a possibility. I mean, we've already seen the mess that we're in over the next year. I don't think Keir Starmer will be there personally as the Labour leader by 2029, despite his ego stating that he's going to be doing 10 years. That's just never going to happen. But I think we might see a change of leadership here with sort of Keir Starmer later on, and then they might be forced to call an election a little bit later on. I don't know. I'm not too sure, but you don't know who you're up against here. These individuals are quite egotistical, and they're not going to be giving up power anytime soon, unless obviously they're sort of forced to. But yeah, I mean, it's a possibility, but just looking at Keir Starmer, looking at the Labour Party, I don't think they're going to be giving up power anytime soon to call an election at all.
Of course, yeah. And one thing is clear is that if an election was called today, Reform would win. But you're right, there is, 3.5, 4 years left until there is another election. A lot of things can change in that time. And, we've not even really seen a competitor to Reform in the shape of Advance. So, that could definitely shake up the competition a little bit. But what is true is that nor Labour or Conservative will get into power, and Liberal Democrats will just do what Liberal Democrats do, is take up a small portion of the benches.
And just, Ed Davey gets his question in PMQs, and that's it, because they are dog meat as well. Keeping on to the subject of Reform, of course, we've seen the sort of first Labour MP defector join the party, but you were saying that you've got some information on him with regard to the Fabian Society. This individual is a part of the Fabian Society, is that true?
That is correct, yes. Let me just get this up. So,
because whilst you're finding that, we spoke about the Fabian Society in depth on the podcast before, and of course, once you start to realise what it does and what it's there to do, it's pretty damning. So just give us a small summary quickly for those of the viewers that haven't watched our bit on the Fabian Society, but just give us a small summary on what the Fabian Society is, and then we'll go into this new Reform MP and his sort of links and ties towards the society.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Fabian Society was set up in the late 19th century. formulated under the principle of progressivism, which is basically Marxism, or turning the state into a communist state, but slowly and through sort of progressive enactments of law, rather than like a revolution, like a Marxist would say. Now, they were influential in creating, University College London, and right now, very influential in creating the Labour Party as well. So as it stands right now, 141 members of the Labour Party are part of the Fabian Society. Some of their core beliefs are things like the abolishing private property, making sure that kids are educated by the state and not their parents, and really things like that you're seeing in 2025 today. Now, this member,
they like to introduce socialism through the means of politics and education rather than sparking a revolution. They like to do things subtly, and of course, their old logo, famous logo, was a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's what they like to do, is infiltrate silently rather than loudly. But yeah, go on, say what you want about the MP.
Yeah, so Reform's newest candidate, Mason Humberstone, part of Stevenage Borough Council, has just joined Reform. Now, obviously, him being part of the Labour Party means he is part of this establishment. Now, the Fabian Society is influential in the policy of Labour politics. That is an absolute fact. So obviously, it is a long-established socialist organisation with deep ties to the Labour movement. And essentially, it was revealed via an anonymous tip that the Register of Interest for Stevenage Borough Council confirms that Mason Humberstone, who defected from Labour to Reform, is listed as a member of the Fabian Society. Now, this is not speculation. This is drawn directly from the Stevenage Borough Council's official Register of Interest, which is a matter of public record. Rupert Lowe has already responded to the accusation, saying it's awful. Just one word, full stop. But really, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing this migration of uni-party politicians go over to Reform because they are leading the polls. They are not going there to implement change to Britain. This is key. It's fundamental, and they are going there to continue their careers as politicians to implement the uni-party.
Yeah, well, I do find it interesting that they've even got a Labour MP defector anyway. I also find it. I know the old saying is that, well, there's only so many politicians out there and only so many sort of places that they have to sort of take and get what they sort of can. But I do find it interesting to see a Labour MP defect over to Reform. Yeah, I mean, especially with one that's, as I said, who's a part of the Fabian Society, and what their sort of beliefs are and their sort of background. Maybe if you had a Labour MP that wasn't a part of the society, well, you could probably understand it a little bit, but it's like left to right. It's almost change of politics completely for this individual. So I'm not really sure what I think on this matter, really.
Yeah, you're right. Going from left to right, it just begs the question: how much change can you actually expect from people who go from the left wing of politics to the furthest sort of mainstream right wing of politics? I mean, have they had an epiphany overnight? Like, have their policies changed? Have their ideas changed? No, they're still the same person. They're just, wearing a different cloak of armour. They're just operating under a different party. And we need to call this out and sort of keep track of this, because, at the end of the day, if they just become a sort of a shell party for Labour and Conservative politicians to sort of seek refuge at, and to also make sure they keep their job come the next election, then I just think we're not going to get that change that Britain needs right now.
Yeah, facts. You're speaking absolute sense, and that's what a lot of the reservations are at this moment in time with regard to Reform. People saying that they're just a part of the establishment. So yeah, I mean, time will tell, but this is certainly something that of course, is going to irk a lot of people, and of course, yeah, you should be questioning this individual's interest if he's a part of the Fabian Society. You've also got a bit on us with regard to James Murdoch, is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. So this is quite funny. I think this is actually hilarious. Essentially, James Murdoch is now under investigation for a potential breach of paragraph 11 of the MP's Code of Conduct. Now, I will just pop this into the document, but essentially what that means is he's under investigation for a breach of conduct. So essentially what happened is that James Murdoch posted the letter N, that stands for November, with nothing else on there. So just the letter M as a reply to a tweet. And then below his tweet, someone replied the letter I, and then G, and then G, and then E, and then R. So essentially, he was the N in the sort of chain of N words. And he is essentially under investigation for this. So basically, a man called Ben Obsigetti, so he wrote to the Standards Commissioner asking to investigate James Murdoch after he appeared to instigate this racial slur, spelling out the word. I can't obviously say it for reasons, but it's the N word. And that was aimed at Sky News journalist Mahari Arora in response to an article by Guido Fawkes. So I think this is, I think it's hilarious. I don't agree with him obviously doing it. We don't know what he actually intended. I mean, he just said the letter N. I mean, if you're chronically online, you'd understand that this is a little bit of a joke. You see it sometimes in Instagram comments. I have to obviously condemn James if that was his intention to make that word. Obviously, we shouldn't be using slurs in any form because that just degrades the sort of conversation, the dialect in between two people. It's really just an ad hominem fallacy to be using these abhorrent sort of words, but it might have been a misclick. We don't know. And at the end of the day, he didn't actually say the word. He just said the letter N. So I'm kind of on the fence of it a little bit. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I don't think I actually see it. Maybe I've seen it, but I mean, yeah. I mean, if that was his intention, then of course. I don't know, but then again, you can't really condemn someone for just putting N. I don't get it. It's like,
that's the thing.
How can they prove that? I don't understand. And maybe that might have not been his intention anyway. But either way, I do think it's just kind of shows the sort of society that we're sort of living in, where an individual is now going to be investigated for typing the letter N on X.
Exactly. So, no letters are safe anymore. They've got N. They're coming for you, and they're coming for I as well. Next. So
yeah. Well, talking about social media and individuals being lifted, there's of course been a video come up from the Free Speech Union with regard to a US citizen being harassed by British police coming around to her house. And essentially she was asking, well, what have I done? And then they were like, well, we can't really tell you that, as they always do. And then they said, well, if you apologise, then we won't escalate this any further. Now, this obviously raises a lot of questions, more to the fact, even if that was a British citizen getting done for Facebook posts and social media, it's abhorrent. We shouldn't be seeing it at all. But this is a US citizen, and this news actually came out at the same time that Donald Trump was actually in the UK. Let's have a little watch of this video quickly, and we can talk about it, Dom.
You can come in, but you better have a damn good reason for being here. I'm a member of the Free Speech Union, and I'm an American citizen. I'll have Elon Musk on you so quick your feet won't touch.
Something that we believe you've written on Facebook has upset someone.
You're here because somebody got upset. Is it against the law? Am I being arrested?
You're not being arrested.
Then what are you doing here?
My plan was, if you were admitting that it was you who wrote the comment, you could just make an apology to the person.
I'm not apologizing to anybody, I can tell you that.
The alternative would be that I have to call you in for an interview. I'm here to talk to you about the allegation. They've reported it to the police.
So what?
Obviously, we get a lot of reports like that.
Are there no houses that have been burgled recently? No rapes, no murders?
Yeah, that's all going on as well. That's been.
Well, then why aren't you out there doing, investigating those?
Because I've got to investigate everything that gets reported.
Well, you're not investigating houses being burgled.
No, that's not my job today. I'd like to have a look at the comment that I'm...
I don't need to. I know exactly the things I've said. You know how many people in this neighborhood have been broken into?
I don't look after this neighborhood.
No, of course you don't, unless there's a tweet, then you do. So what? I haven't broken any laws. So you're going to be wasting your time when you can be, instead, doing things that are more important.
That's why I wanted to just come to you directly, have a chat about it.
No. You should not be doing this. I'm a cancer patient. You can see that because I'm bald.
I didn't know that before I came, but it doesn't change anything. You still can't break laws. If you haven't broken a law, then nothing happens.
Well, you know whether I've broken a law. You can judge for yourself before you even show up at my door. The public knows what you guys are doing. We know what's going on in this country. Why don't you do that? Get on to them and tell them to apologize to me, a cancer patient, a woman living on her own, who has never broken a law in her life, by the way, ever. An older woman, you tell them, I'm an elderly woman, I'm a cancer patient.
I have to come back and arrange an interview then.
Well, you can arrange it, but I'm going to tell you the same damn things that I'm telling you now. Next time, I'm going to have a free speech union lawyer with me.
So yeah, thoughts on that, Dom?
Yeah, it's incredible. You know what? The sort of flip-flapping the officer did. He said, no, you haven't broken the law. And then said, well, I didn't know that before you broke the law. This is exactly the type of sort of response we need to give these people who think they can police free speech and police people's thoughts. And she's absolutely correct in saying, is there nothing better to do? He said he doesn't patrol this area unless it's for people saying bad things online or saying hurty things. There was never any sort of talking about the post that she did, yet the man basically just wanted an apology for it.
It was there to extract an apology. That's it. I mean, that's a complete waste of time. So there was no crime committed, and the police weren't going to do anything. But he was literally there to extract an apology off of her.
Yeah, sounds a bit like the Gestapo. It's basically an admission of guilt if she apologizes as well.
Yeah, that's wild. And of course, what do you make of her being a US citizen as well?
Yeah, I mean, that really is the final sort of nail in the coffin, if you will. I think, obviously, she mentioned about the state of free speech in the UK. She said she's going to get Elon Musk on you so fast. She said the world knows what's happening here. I mean, she is clearly informed about what is going on. Fair play if she wants to come live over here. I don't blame her, but she come from the land of free speech to our land where there is no free speech, and now she's being sort of questioned about her speech, which is not illegal, yet deemed offensive. And I just think it's shocking, really, that we're treating American citizens and cancer patients as well like this. It just goes to show, why would we want to pay taxes for police to patrol that? It makes no sense.
The ironic thing as well is that it was a Thames Valley police officer. And as I said, the ironic thing is what they were tasked with was protecting Donald Trump over the last couple of days, by the way.
Okay, so awesome.
So yeah, I mean, I bet he didn't know anything about that at all. But it's absolutely disgusting. To sort of see something a bit funny, a little bit of a sense of humour. Of course, you know about the Operation Raise the Colours, and just because we like taking the piss out of liberals on here, I've got a nice compilation video just over the last couple of days actually of lefty libtards essentially having racist meltdowns, over the flags, or over people flying flags in their local communities and deeming them as racist. It's a bit of a compilation, but yeah, some of the best clips that I handpicked over the last couple of days. I just want you to have a watch of this, Dominic.
Leave the fucking flag alone, right? Move on. Jog on. Go on, fuck off. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. What's your problem with that flag? What's your problem with that flag? Huh? Well, speak then. What's your fucking problem? Leave it alone, mate. Move. Move on. Yeah, go on, fuck off. Pair of fucking melts, traitors. Yeah, go on, fuck off. Swear to you, mate, don't come back round here. Yeah, go on, fuck off.
Here's a lefty now, I think. Not very happy, just done a Yui.
Are you going around putting Union Jacks up?
Yeah.
Why?
Just to celebrate unity and peace in our country.
Do you live here?
No.
Can you not do it then, please?
No.
What about for the people of colour that live here?
They should, this represents them.
We like Union Jack, but we don't bring St George's flag, so how do I know you're going to start putting St George's?
The St George's flags is going up.
You can't do this.
It's in England.
Not everybody wants to put George's flag up.
Why not?
Are you recording me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do this one and then we'll work our way down to that one.
I won't move you, won't you, till I do?
Come on, we'll do this one.
Come on.
She's fine.
The police are coming now.
Yeah, that's
You know
fine.
them well.
Yeah, that is fine. It's wasting police time. Say that again. Say that again.
You've been racist for long.
I will. That's assault.
You're a racist.
We're waiting. Yeah, Sam.
Your pants,
We're going to go. Wentworth, the Agua. I told her not to race the police this time, really. And it was her what assaulted us. We should have probably rang the police. But we was trying to just de-escalate it, carry on what we're doing.
Yeah,
we ain't going to stop. We'll go to a different street.
Yeah. Where are you just putting them up all over?
The whole of Worcester. It's all funded by a GoFundMe. There's people in this street was donated and requested them to be put up in the street, believe it or not. It's mad how there's such a big divide between people. Can you watch us get in the truck and leave?
Yeah,
so we don't get more.
make me coffee.
Oh, we should. We'll have to leave it because I'd rather these be here when we leave so they don't get aggressive again.
Clearly you're not uniting by using
Well, we
it
are.
like this, are you?
Like what?
How
are we using it? How are we using it? Excuse me, how are we using it?
You're an angry little woman.
How are we abusing it? Explain, have a conversation.
Because you're using it to spread hate.
No, we're not.
Yes, you are.
No, we're not.
You like to think.
You are spreading hate.
You're the one that spreads the hate.
We're not spreading hate, you are. Right, we're going to put one right outside your house. My God, she was angry.
Are you alright, mate?
Silly little bitch. Sorry.
My God, she was angry.
My country's flag. Here she comes again. Make sure.
That's right, I'm recording her.
No,
Here she comes again.
That on an island, love.
Hey! Hey!
Here we go. Go on, take your time, love. We've got no argument with you.
So you can play this.
It's fine, you're allowed to record, it's
We've
public.
got no animosity whatsoever, darling.
This is spreading love.
Hello. We've got no.
Yes, Adam! Yes, Adam!
You love this, because I do.
I love my country! I love my flag! And I will fly it! I will fly it wherever I want to! Because I love my flag!
Speaking as somebody who's represented their country, I hate
So was my dad. So then you should be ashamed of yourself. This flag represents Christianity, and you should be ashamed. You can never trust a lefty with your kids. You can never trust a lefty with your kids.
You can never trust a lefty. Never trust a lefty. Never trust a lefty with your kids.
Yo, what are you cutting them down for?
I fucking hate the whole idea of it.
That's fucking ridiculous. What are they doing to you?
Racist.
Racist? Why? By putting a flag up, they're racist, are they?
If you like, take a photo of me.
You're a piss take.
I'm proud that I'm taking them down.
Yeah? You're a fucking joke. Absolute ridiculous. Look at you.
Put it on Facebook.
Yeah, we'll do. One absolute melt. Absolute melt.
That's my property, mate. It's staying up there.
Well, go ahead and
Yeah. No, it's fine.
because it's over here.
Mate, you ain't putting... Take the ladder away.
Now you're assaulting me.
I ain't assaulted you, mate.
I think you have. Just push
Mate, you're not putting it, you ain't taking my fucking flags, mate.
Well, you can take them.
No, you're not taking them, mate.
Why isn't it in front of your house?
They are, mate. They're everywhere.
Yeah, but this
not in
is
front
not
of my
yours.
house.
Take your ladder away, mate.
Oh, we're going to do this a lot.
Yeah.
It's a little tedious.
Come on, mate.
And you're now pushing the ladder quite hard.
Mate, I push tank hard, mate. Come on.
You're pushing it quite hard now. I would like to
I advise you not to get up there.
from the lamp.
Alright, get another one.
Could you just let me do this thing?
You're not taking the flags down, mate.
What do you think I should do?
You've got much choice. Just wait till I
And you just...
wait till I go. Well, it'll be in about a few hours.
Okay. Can you just tell me what on earth you think you're doing with these flags?
No, we're just supporting with British patriots. We're supporting the English flag. It's got nothing to do with the racism that you all think.
Well, how do you know?
Tell me you don't look nice. Do you why?
Sorry, just a minute. How do you know I think it's racism? How do you know that?
Because we've been called it all week.
Have I called it?
Well,
Have I called
we
it?
honestly don't know because there's a massive group of you doing
So I
it.
haven't said you're being racist. Have I?
Right, best thing you do is just leave it. Because why do you want to take your own flag down? Do you not think it looks nice?
No, I don't. I think it has other implications.
Yeah.
It has
But
more
it doesn't.
implications than, and I think you know.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. So.
You know that it does.
No.
Can I just say, the guys who put this flag up verbally were very aggressive to me, and I didn't say a word. They turned on me.
I was here when they put it up. I was here when they put it up, so you're lying.
No, the guys, they were putting them up here, and I
Oh, down there where one of our guys got pushed off the ladder.
Nobody got pushed off any fucking ladder.
Yeah, look. Oi, text Harry and tell him I'm here videoing them.
Oh yeah, Harry Hilden.
He won't, look.
Yeah. Really, I'm glad you're proud of
Cheers.
your country.
Text out.
I love you too.
Don't put your hands on me, mate. I'll fucking headbutt you. Get your hands off me.
I just hugged you.
This
is you just said you were going to headbutt me. This is
because you're putting your hands on me, mate.
I hugged you.
I don't want to fucking hug off you, mate.
You don't want a hug from me?
Sorry, go on.
No, I'm just.
You don't want to hug
He's
from
putting
me?
his hands. No, I don't.
you.
Mate, go away. Go on, touch me.
What?
Touch me. Go on.
So you want me to do
Step
that?
back away from me, please.
Why?
Step back.
Why are you
Step back, mate.
We look after people who are ill.
Very violent, aren't you?
I think we should go.
Do you know it's violent?
Yeah, I think you should go.
Yeah.
You take one down, we put two up.
Well, that is the unfortunate fact that you did do that.
Yeah, I know, it's good, right? Don't provoke us then. Listen,
Is it provocative?
they're not hurting no one, are
If
they?
I came and stuck a flag outside your house, I don't know, I say, for example, if I came and stuck a trans rights flag outside your house, not that I would, but if I did, how would you feel?
It's your right to do it, mate, isn't it?
And you would leave it there, would you?
As long as it weren't
You'd
enough.
leave it there, would you?
I've got no.
Would you leave it there?
Yeah, I would, yeah.
So if I stuck a trans rights flag outside your house and started wandering about outside shouting about, you know, how trans people are
See, but we haven't been shouting about. We haven't been shouting about British people
You were marching up and down the road shouting about it yesterday. My God!
About what?
I got the film.
Show us then.
Huh?
Can you stop filming? It's really intrusive, it's really personal, and it's illegal to film people.
No, it's not.
It isn't illegal.
No, it's not. Not in the public space.
Without their permission.
No, it's not. Not in the public space, it's not. No, it's not. Not in the public space. It's not. It's not.
Let's go. I think you need to check the law.
I think what you should really do is read stuff. Do proper research instead of...
We have, mate, don't worry.
Yeah, what you've done is get the wrong idea.
No, I don't think so. I don't want to catch anyone else trying to take them down.
Why, what will happen to them?
Do it and find out.
What do you mean do it and find out? What, you're threatening us?
No, I'm just saying.
You don't want
You're threatening to take my flag down.
You don't want anyone to catch anyone. You don't want to catch anyone taking your flag down.
Go away. Go. Hey? Yeah, that's what he's trying to do. Cheers.
So, yeah, I mean, they all have a very definitive look about them, don't they?
Yes, it's the lack of protein and too much soy in their diet type of look.
Yeah, no, but all of them, the girls as well, they all have like, they're all Karens, aren't they?
Yeah. They just love to, like, I can tell they just love to like snitch on people, you know?
Yeah. No, but I love that the last guy's analogy. He was like, well, what happens if I put a trans rights flag outside your house? It's like, the guys are forgetting the point. It's the UK and he's putting up the country's flag there. That's there for everyone. And he's talking about putting up ideological flags outside a house is completely different than flying your nation's flag. The nation's flag should be absolutely everywhere within the UK. And he's sort of trying to create an agenda. Well, what happens if I put this flag up? Well, yeah, because that's supporting an ideology. This is a flag of your country that you're from.
And you're right. The funny thing is, he conflates the flag of the UK, the Union Jack, and St. George's flag with his view of what is the far-right ideology. So he thinks they're one and the same. So, but that's not true because everybody lives under the flag of the country. We have not hijacked the flag. We are simply proud to be British. And that should be a bipartisan viewpoint, right? Neither left nor right should be, not proud to be British. But yet he is conflating the two. And that is his own flaw, his own fallacy in his argument. He says, okay, you can go onto the streets and chant about sort of trans ideology. Well, he is in a free country. He can do that. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with him nor listen, but he is free to do that.
True. I've kind of gone through everything that I need to go through. Do you have anything for us?
Yes, there is one thing I did want to go over. Yes, now there was an illegal immigrant who was caught entering a primary school.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah. No, I don't think it was a primary school. I'm not sure, but it was like one of the guys, there was two that were outside. One of the guys, of course, jumped the fence and then was escorted off the premises. And then the police came and got him. So there is like some things being said about it. But essentially, the guy wasn't arrested for trespassing into the school. He was actually arrested for outstanding court appearances, and GB News confirmed that the individual was actually an asylum seeker. He didn't reside at the Bell Hotel, but he was living on the streets just outside Essex.
Awesome. And then
yeah, go on.
Go on, after you.
But then again, the next day, after his release, so he wasn't arrested for any of that. There was protests that erupted outside the school, of course. The police said that they couldn't have done anything about it. And the same individual was trying people's cars' doors, and a school went into lockdown due to him being in the surrounding area again, loitering outside primary schools. So it was 2 days. The police had got him, then let him go. Then he turned up at schools the next day. Schools were then forced to go into a lockdown. And then there was a manhunt for the same individual.
Yeah, that's correct. So here is a video outside this school on the second day. And it's pretty incriminating, to be fair.
So this is school at Waltham Abbey. It's in Leverton Primary School, it's called. And there's the head teacher standing over there. Obviously, everybody's concerned about what's going on. And the children inside the school are in lockdown. They're sitting underneath desks. They've pulled blinds down and they're sitting underneath the desks. This has got to stop. We've got to stop letting undocumented men walk around freely on our streets. The same guy was detained yesterday. They haven't been able to detain him today. He is, the helicopter is up. They're trying to find him. They don't know where he's gone. Parents are gathering outside the schools. They can't get their children because school is on lockdown. Yeah, please start sharing this, guys, because we need to get this out here. This school is actually on lockdown.
So how many arrests do you have to do to stop a clear threat to the local community? Is it 1 arrest? Is it 2? Is it 5? Is it 10? It just absolutely baffles me every time a situation like this happens. And I mean, it's clear that this man is a threat, trying to break into primary schools, and he's been released, and the next day he's done the exact same thing. So realistically, if anyone was injured or harmed from this incident, well, the person who should be responsible is the judge that released him yesterday.
More to the point that I just felt there as well was the Essex Police's response. So you had journalists on the ground. You obviously seen that lady there that was reporting on it, saying, oh, this is the case. There was also another guy as well, an Essex reporter who works for GB News, who spoke to the teachers and said they're in lockdown due to this guy. However, the Essex Police, they said, we are aware of concerns on social media saying that a man was acting suspiciously on the grounds of schools in Waltham Abbey. Some commentary is suggesting a man attempted to gain access into the schools in the same area. The above claims are untrue. Full statement on our website. Now, I'm not going to read the full statement because it's so long. However, essentially they were saying it was bullcrap. Then they quote tweeted their thing, and then they said, we've made an arrest after reports of a man trying car doors in Waltham Abbey, in custody on suspicion of vehicle interference. However, no other school-related incidents reported despite inaccurate claims. However, we've got a lot of these journalists out on the ground, some very reputable, whether they work for GB News or that lady there, actually getting this information from the head teacher themselves and the parents, but then saying that their claims are untrue.
Yeah, it does make me question why the school went into lockdown if that isn't the case. If he was trying car doors, I mean, that doesn't really make any sense to me.
So yeah, there's still probably more to come out from this sort of story. But either way, this guy even jumping over the fence was just being spotted around loitering schools, trying car doors after being arrested. When is the point where the police going to take action? When a little child gets abducted, when a little child gets touched or whatever? When is the point that they actually look at the guy and say, oh, this guy is a threat? Because he's clearly suspicious.
Clearly, and this is just the ones we hear about as well. I remember a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, there was that 12-day period where there was sexual assaults every single day coming from illegal migrants staying at hotels. I just think the problem is so big right now, and there are so many communities literally living in fear that these are the people that are being not even radicalized, but just woken up to the situation at hand. These normal people whose lives are affected are the people joining the UTK rallies. They are the people, joining the movements against Parliament. It's not radical people, it's just normal people with families, with kids that they fear for their safety. And they have every right to do so when you have, unvetted asylum seekers, migrants, invaders, whatever you want to call them, trying to break into primary schools. They have every right to be scared. And I just think the problem's going to get so much worse over the next 4 years. I really hope it doesn't, but I just think it will, With the rate of deportations, a record number of 2 so far in this 1 in, 1 out deal, the problem will get worse and a lot faster.
Fair. Well, we're kind of running out of time, I suppose, my man. But yeah, Guys, thank you so much for the support and bearing with us here on the old podcast at this moment in time. I said we can't wait to get back to the studio again. That's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, we were just making do, and we will be back with Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's been a bit of a turbulent time for us, not making excuses, but we've been on the road and whatnot. But we still appreciate you guys tuning in to this makeshift version of the podcast.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you for listening. If you want to follow me on X, the link will be down below. And yeah, thank you for listening. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.